Hey everyone, it's Hannah Catherine with Edie's Craft Room here. Welcome to my channel. Gosh, you guys, first and foremost, I just have to say you absolutely blew me away with your interest in my most recent video, which I will make sure and link here. And so I am just here to say I am so humbled and just honored to have a place in some of the hour or minutes of your day. I know each one of them is so precious, and so I just can't thank you enough for allowing me to be a part of that and to share my love for crafting and quilting specifically in that video. But let me just say, you all brought me to tears with the enormous interest in that video, and also with so many of you coming and deciding that you wanted my content to be a regular part of your lives too. So thank you so much. I'm just here to say that you motivated me to make another video. So I'll be sure to put some chapters down below for those of you who don't care so much about the chit chat. But I also just wanted to give you a little bit of background about me and the place that I was in making that last video. So the beginning of this year, 2023, has just been absolutely crazy, and it's been wonderful in so many ways. But at the end of February, I moved, which was great. And then I got engaged on March 1st, which is so exciting. And then I was laid off March 2nd. So it was quite an emotional roller coaster during that time. And so I was using my unemployment to kind of figure out what exactly I wanted to do. And of course, you know, looking for jobs and trying to further my career, but also, you know, you can't spend every minute of every single day job searching. And so my parents actually really encouraged me. They were like, Hannah Catherine, find out what you love. What is it that you want to do? And channel your energy during this time into that. So I got a lot of wedding planning done, which was great during my unemployment, but also I decided I was going to start this YouTube channel. And so I really wasn't sure if anything would come of it, but you guys made it possible. So thank you so much, and thank you for lifting my spirits during that time. I'm really happy to say that I have a new job and I'm absolutely loving it. I've been there for a little over a month now, and it has been far more than I could have ever asked for or imagined in terms of an opportunity and helping my career. So very, very thankful for that. Very thankful for my fiance who supported me during that time, because it was just so wild, because part of me was just so happy and such a dream come true, and then also just terrified and so much anxiety about the future. And then also most recently, we had a fun little addition to our family, which I'm so excited to share with you now. Let me go get him. So he's almost so small he doesn't even come up into frame. But this is my sweet baby Gumbo. Oh my gosh. He usually loves being held, but he is not. Come here, let's put you down. It might just be easier to put a picture of him, but he is my sweet British short hair that my fiance and I welcomed home a couple weeks ago. So it has just been such a joy to have him here. He has been so much fun, has brought so much laughter, and I've introduced him to the craft room. So he's getting comfortable with all of those sounds and everything, and actually sat with me this morning as I was doing some sewing. So that's been a lot of fun too. So anyway, so many amazing things happening in life recently, and so much of that is thanks to you. So with all that said, I thought I would just go ahead and give you a little bit of an idea of what I have been up to this past month in terms of crafting, and share with you a little bit of my whips. And I don't think I really have any true finishes, but just because it has been such a crazy time, and all of the different mediums that I have been tackling. So with that said, thank you once again. Thank you for watching. Would love to have you subscribe if you haven't already, and I will jump into my May 2023 crafting progress. Now, most recently with quilting, I finished all of my quilt blocks for the pattern, I believe it's Star Bloom by Basic Gray, and here they are. I'm so excited with how this is turning out. I will go ahead and just overlay a photo of what my quilt blocks look like laid out right now. Please take a look and let me know if you think anything looks off in terms of my placement. I definitely would appreciate feedback, because I think my worst nightmare is getting the whole thing quilted and then just not being happy with it. So let me know there. But I was just had so much fun with this, just because I also think the fabric that I used made this so much fun. I used Zinnia by April Rosenthal for Motive Fabrics for my fabric here, and you can just see it was super colorful. Like, I mean, just all the colors of the rainbow. I was actually working on a different quilt before this, which I'll show you in just a second. And I feel like with all the things that happened in my life during that time, especially with being unemployed, I wanted a little bit of serotonin fabric in my life. So I actually put that one on pause to finish this one. And yeah, there they are. So my quilt blocks are pretty much done, although let me show you, I had a little boo-boo. I just went ahead and used my alphabetes from Fat Quarter Shop to label my rows, because my poor fiance doesn't need to step over any more of my quilts or crafting supplies, because this was all laid out on the floor behind me for a little while so I could take a look at it. But anyway, so I think I talked about in my last video how I wanted to be a little bit more mindful and intentional with my crafting, in terms of not just like taking the easy way out, because in my mind I'm like, oh, it's a hobby, it should be fun, but then I think sometimes I take shortcuts when I'm in that mindset instead of like at work, you know, I would never do that. So I tried really hard. There's Gumbo making an appearance, to salvage one of my blocks. Right here you can see what's going on there. I took my scraps from my literal trash can and tried to piece together this block. And after I finished this, I was like, hey Catherine, what are you doing? Just go buy half a yard of the fabric, because thank goodness it is still available, and just fix it. So I am going to fix this. I don't know, I just really had to check myself and be like, you've spent so many hours and so much money into putting this together, like, do it right, girlfriend. So I am going to fix that. But other than that, this one is pretty good to go, and I have an order in with Fat Quarter Shop right now that will fix that fabric. So anyway, those are my blocks. And then for my binding, I'm going to be using this, which I think is so fun and bright and colorful. And this is also from that Zinnia line as well. For my backing, I am also using a fabric from the Zinnia line, this big, beautiful florals. I love like big florals for the backs of my quilts. So yeah, I think I'm going to actually send this off to a long armor. This is gonna be my first quilt I've ever sent off. I've always done just straight line quilting on my domestic machine. But I feel like I've practiced enough on quilts, and that is just not my favorite part. I would love to get my hands on a long arm at some point and try it out myself. I think custom quilting is absolutely beautiful, but that is not in the budget or in my space allowances at the moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and send her off and do some sort of pantograph on her. So let me know if you have any ideas for what sort of pantograph I should do. I'm thinking probably floral, just because it kind of goes with the star blooms theme of it all, and we'll just go with the bright colors. But I also know that, you know, there's stars in it, so I don't know, something to think about. Now, also, I need to give credit where credit is due. I absolutely love Donna Jordan from Jordan Fabrics, her video, and I know it's a family effort that goes into making those videos, but she is the inspiration behind this quilt, and I will link her video down below, just because I think she's phenomenal, and her videos are just so soothing to me, and I've watched this one so many times. It's one of my favorite quilts. So you will see in future videos, I have a few other quilts that I'm going to be making because she has inspired me. So thank you, Donna Jordan. Now my next quilting whip is the quilt I told you that I put on hold for a bit to do the Star Blooms quilt, and that is going to be Lighthouse by Thimble Blossoms. I really love this. If you can't tell from my house, I love blue and white, so I wanted to make a blue and white quilt. I believe the fabric used in the sample quilt from Camille Ross Kelly is Nantucket Summer, which Oh my gosh, it's just my favorite fabric line ever, and I got into quilting just like a hair too late for that one. So of course that was just such a popular line that sold out everywhere, so really haven't been able to get my hands on much. I think I got my hands on like 1 or 2 SKUs for the binding and backing of this quilt, but anyway, very sad I missed that, but I decided I could just go ahead and make this and use Bella Solids, so that's what I did and have been doing. So this is the quilt, and let me stand up for you and show you. I'm pretty close to being done. I would say I'm probably like 2/3 of the way through, and I won't be able to, you know, show you the whole thing because it is just too big for my setup, but it's just the same block repeated. Now, you see this? So this is part of what made me pause on this, was I don't know how this happened, but I just sewed on a row completely backwards. So in my most recent order that I placed with Fat Quarter Shop, which I will talk about in a different video, I got a nice seam ripper because this is gonna take me a minute to undo. And I just, you know, like I said, I want this to be fun. Like, this is my hobby, this is not work. And so when I got to the point where I was like miserable with it, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna put it away. I don't want any bad memories attached to any of my quilts. So I lost my patience with it. So anyway, I do need to take this seam out. I do use relatively small stitches. So these, I think it's a 2.0 on my machine. Not as small as some people, but small enough that makes this process kind of painful. So anyway, that's why part of the reason for the pause, but I really am almost done with this, which is just really exciting to have 2 quilts. And this will also be sent off to a long armor once I'm finished, which will be very exciting. And I'm definitely going to do a pantograph. I don't think a quilt like that really calls for any sort of custom quilting. So one thing I did learn from this though is it is a pretty simple quilt, although there are quite a lot of points in there, which if you are also a new quilter, you know is a struggle and a challenge. But one thing I really learned about myself was I don't love repeating the same thing over and over and over again. I know for some people it's therapeutic because it's mindless, but for me, I don't know, quilting is definitely my therapy, and I like a little bit of just like the thought that goes into it. I feel like quilting and cross stitching especially, I love it because it's just a non-screen activity for me. I don't know about you, but I just feel like there are so many screens in my life. And so I really love just being able to sit down with my paper pattern and like follow along and follow the instructions instead of just like sewing. So anyway, that's, you know, that's good to know. I still think this quilt is absolutely beautiful, and I'm really excited to see the finished product after I go in and take out that seam. And I know it will be worth it, but just something I thought about when I was making it and just knowing about myself. So actually, I think my favorite quilt I've made so far, I'll go ahead and just put a video in here if I can find it, was a Christmas quilt I made for my grandmother at the end of last year. And I was just so proud of this quilt because I truly felt like it was above my capabilities, especially as a new quilter. I think that was my 3rd quilt, maybe 4th quilt I'd ever made in my first year of quilting. So I was really proud of that, but I really liked that one because it was, each row I think was a different block. And so that was really fun and challenging. And just, I don't know, it made the process feel a little bit more regimented instead of just being like block 49 of 50, blocks 50 of 50, you know. So anyway, just a thought there. These were the remaining fabrics from Nantucket Summer that I was able to score. So for my backing, I'm just using, it's like a navy and white check. And then for my binding, it's like a light blue and white stripe. So keeping with the blue and white theme, just a little bit of differences there, but yeah, I think it'll be nice. And also just like a little more masculine to have in my house. Because my poor fiance is wonderful. So just trying to, you know, expand past the girly girl. So anyway, yes, very, very happy with that. So those are the quilts that I am working on. Oh, actually there is one more, hold on. So another thing I've learned about myself in my quilting journey is that sew-alongs are not for me. And not to say that I can't participate in them, but I will get behind in them. It's just guaranteed. I'm either gonna wanna like stitch ahead or I'm gonna be way behind. And so on this one, I am way behind. So I did the Sewcialites 2, or am doing the Sewcialites 2 quilt along from Fat Quarter Shop, which is really awesome, and I just say kudos to them from like a marketing campaign standpoint and like a community standpoint and just all of the above. And so I decided as a brand new quilter I was going to do the 3-inch blocks. So I have, let's see, 1, 2, oh, I love this one, 3, 4, 5, oh, I did a good job with that, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I know that that was not in the correct orders of the blocks per week, because I'm pretty sure this was week number 1. But I have 9, I believe there are 24, which actually that was further than I thought I got. So I'm really impressed. I am using the fabric line Summer Breeze from Moda, which is another blue fabric, but this time it's more like blue and yellow, blue and white. I think there may be a little bit of, yeah, just like a hint of green in some of the fabrics. But anyway, now that I'm done with the Star Bloom quilt and I'm on my way to being done with my, let's see, what was this one called? The Lighthouse Quilt from Thimble Blossoms. I need to knock this one out because it is so much fun. It's so cool to like try out different quilt blocks, and the 3-inch was certainly a challenge. I just frankly was in a place where I didn't have the money to spend on the 9-inch blocks, which are the ones I probably should have done as a relatively new quilter. But you know what? Hindsight's 2020, and this will be really fun to try out. I'm also gonna try when I'm done doing free motion quilting on my domestic machine for this one, just because it is a little bit more, it's smaller. So I forgot what the finished size of the 3-inch blocks is going to be after you put it in the setting, but I think it'll be a little bit more manageable on my domestic machine versus, you know, like a big twin or queen size quilt that I have tried before. So those are not as fun for me. Maybe it is for you, which is awesome, but for me, not so much. So anyway, those are my whips, my quilting whips. Now, I'm sure many of you can relate to this, but just because you have many quilts in progress doesn't mean you can stop shopping. So I want to share a little bit of my quilting haul with you. This actually is not necessarily a recent haul. These are just kind of items I have in the wings. I think some of them are still available, some of them might not be. So just take this all with a grain of salt. And believe it or not, I couldn't stop myself. I put in another order recently, so I will probably talk about that in the June 2023 review video. But anyway, okay, so Donna Jordan was at it again, and she had another quilt that I love. She calls it her mysterious quilt. And so I thought it would be really fun to use this Fat Quarter bundle. This is Gingham Fields from Riley Blake Designs. So I thought these greens were really pretty, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it or not. I have a family friend, actually it's my fiance's family friend, but she's just been wonderful to me since day one, and I promised her that I would make her a quilt at some point, so this might be the quilt that I give her. She mentioned to me she likes greens, so this might be hers. We'll see. I never want to be that person that is like imposing my craft on someone else. I have given quilts as gifts for sure because there's just not enough places to put them, but I started getting out of the mentality of like, oh, so and so would like this, and started more picking things based on what I would like. So anyway, I like this, but if it works for her, then it might be a gift. So I got this fabric line, and then, oh, I'm so excited. This backing is just to die for. I love it. I think that's so pretty. And then I believe, let's see, it's been, like I said, a little bit. I have some more. So I think I chose this for the binding, and then this for one of my borders, and then this for the bigger border. So all of this is from that same fabric line, by the way. I am just a little bit type A about that. I know not everyone likes to, you know, kind of pick their own things, but I like to buy all of my fabric together for specific projects. So yep, that will be coming soon. But I think before I tackle that one, my, again, Camille Ross Kelly Girl Crush, I absolutely love Dwell. This is, of course, by Camille for Moda. So I got this charm pack and a jelly roll in Dwell, and I am going to make, I cannot remember the name of the fabric and my computer just died, so I'm gonna have to insert it here, or not the fabric, but the pattern. But anyway, I'm gonna do this. I picked this pattern because I thought, because I love the fabric so much, I felt like it would showcase the charms well. Instead of being smaller pieces, it was just kind of like a bigger showcasing of the fabric. So that's why I picked that pattern. And then, oh, it's just so pretty. It, of course, reminds me a little bit of Nantucket Summer. So I'm sure that's why I liked it. But, and then for my binding, I chose this. And I believe this is for a border. So it's just so pretty. It's just feminine and classy, and I love it. So anyway, that all said, that is my quilting whips and my haul, if you will, of future projects that I'll be tackling, and I am just so excited about it. Also, thank you all so much for your comments on some of my techniques in my last video. It was so helpful for me, especially as a new quilter. That's part of the reason why I wanted to kind of join this community, was because I noticed that there's so many good tips in the comment section. So I have a lot to learn still, and I'm so thankful that I get to learn from you all. Now, the next category of my whips that I wanted to talk about is my cross stitching. So if that doesn't interest you, again, I'll put the sections down below. So I'm talking about what I'm working on, but this is going to be cross stitching, which I know technically would probably go under a floss tube video, but I don't think I have enough of cross stitching to make one video dedicated to all of that, so I wanted to go ahead and include it in here. So again, as I mentioned, stitch alongs or quilt alongs are not necessarily for me, but I am working on Big City Christmas by Country Cottage Needleworks, and I am choosing to stitch all of these adorable little row homes on one piece of fabric. This is the lamb's wool 32 count linen. It's 26 inches by 36 inches cross stitch cloth from Witchell Imports. That's what it is on Fat Corner Shop, which is where I got this from. You can tell one of my favorite places to shop is. But yeah, so I believe they actually are just sending out the last pattern in that series now. So obviously I'm probably about, I think, 6 months behind. But anyway, this is fun. I go back and forth between this and another project that I'll show you in just a minute. But I just think it's so cute. It's just such a picturesque little town, and I think I'm probably gonna end up gifting this to my future mother-in-law for Christmas. So she has just this cute little house in the woods in Maine, and I think this would look adorable with her decor. So that is what I'm working on. This was also my first experience working on doing back stitching, like a straight stitch, as well as French knots. And let me tell you, the straight stitching or back stitching went pretty well. I feel good about that. That was fun. French knots, I watched so many YouTube tutorials, and I think finally got something that was a little bit acceptable, but honestly, probably when I'm done with this, I am going to go back and try again. And to be honest, I didn't even attempt the French knots that go around this now playing sign. So still learning there. But overall, this has been really a lot of fun. I have been using all of the called for Classic Colorworks threads, as well as there's a couple DMCs that are called for in this, and yeah, hoping to have this done probably by the fall, just so I'll have time to get it framed and gift it. My other cross stitch project is the 2021 modern folk embroidery stitch along. This was the annual stitch along that year, and I just thought it was so beautiful. I believe it's called Fruits of Plenty, and as I've said, it's that blue and white, which is what I believe was suggested, although you could of course use any floss colors that you would like for something like this. There's just two. They suggest a lighter and a darker floss, but of course I had to choose the suggested blues. But anyway, I love this one. It is so gorgeous. I cannot wait to have this done and framed and hung up in my home. I think it is beautiful. Certainly it has taken some time. It's a big project, and as much as I would love to be getting like one of these sections done each month, that's just probably not going to happen. I'd hope to have this done this year, but I actually think it might be a little bit longer than that. It might go into 2024, which is fine and actually great, because as you can see at the top, it starts up with the year, so 20, and then the second half of the year will go at the bottom of it. So that gives me a little bit of chance to figure out, okay, am I actually going to get it done in 2023, or are we going to have to push this into next year? But as what I've said with all of this, this is a hobby, this is fun. I'm not on any sort of schedule for this one. This is just my personal passion project, and I love it. So that is it for cross stitch. I'm not nearly as tempted by cross stitch shopping as I am with fabric shopping for my quilts. So I have been good with that and refrained. I did purchase some new needles, but other than that, nothing like that. I just feel like these projects are too big, and it's just hard for me to think about starting something else that I probably wouldn't even start until like 2024, maybe 2025, depending upon how things go. So anything that I like, I take a screenshot of it and save it. I have a photos folder in my life with a kitten, a folder in my photos app on my phone that's just called wants. And so when I see something that I like, I just take a screenshot of it and save it there, and that way I can go back and reflect and say, like, do I really want it, or is this something that I can let pass me by? So no shopping for cross stitching, we're done there, and that is my little update. The last thing I wanted to talk about is more in the fine art section than crafting, but I still think it's exciting and I'm really proud of it, so I wanted to chat with you and share what I've been doing here. But I signed up for an acrylics painting class with my county Parks and Rec outlet, and I have been taking acrylic painting classes for adult beginners, which has been so much fun. I go once a week and spend a couple hours there and with a group and paint with an instructor, and it's been really fun. So I just say that because I think there's a lot of adults out there that think like, oh, I can't take this because I am a beginner or I don't know anything, and I'm all about continued learning. No matter how old you are, where you are in life, you can always learn something new, and it's good for your brain, it's good for your emotional health, your physical health, and all of the above. So anyway, I started out with the classic fruit bowl on my first class, and so just wanted to share that there. I mean, nothing special about it, but it's just really fun using some acrylics and really therapeutic, mixing those colors and just hearing the sounds of the paint on this is a canvas paper, and my teacher puts on jazz music, and it's really nice just to block out 2 hours of your week to do something like this. It's a little different and challenging, so and gets you out of the house too. And like I said, it's also not screen time, so no screen time involved here, which has been really good for me. So this was my first class, what I did there, and then our second class we were challenged to do black and white painting. And this is far from perfect, but I'm actually really proud of what I did here, being a complete beginner. This is my lion, my black and white lion, and again, this is acrylics on just this is canvas paper. It's just the Strathmore canvas paper, but yeah, this is what I've been up to outside of my textile arts this month. and have been having fun learning something new. So anyway, that is all I have for you this month. I can't wait to chat more next month about all the goodies I just recently purchased, and I'm hoping to have much more progress, especially as life seems to be settling down a little bit and I'm able to get into a routine, but haven't started quite yet on those holiday trips, summer vacation trips that will be coming up. So again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I would love to chat with you in the comment section below. If I haven't gotten back to you in a comment from my last video, I will be going through those. They have already just been so encouraging and made me so happy, so I'm just looking forward to that moving forward. Any ideas, tips, tricks, techniques, feedback, please share them with me. Or if you just want to say, hey, I like that too. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.